Kia ora, everybody. Welcome. We're very excited to have you all here today. We'll give it a moment for people to join. But happy last day of January for the beginning of the new year. And I think this is the last possible opportunity that I can say Happy New Year to everybody. So Happy New Year. Hope it was a relaxing one. I hope you got some rest in there after a very busy year last year. We've got some very important guests today who are coming to us live from New Zealand, and they're going to be sharing with us the latest information about the Interislander ferries. I'll introduce them in just a moment, but very quickly, for those of you who I have not met me before, my name is Ren. I am the Los Angeles-based representative for a number of companies in the South Pacific who are part of my marketing portfolio, Pacific Storytelling. Our goal is to connect the North American travel industry through to the suppliers who really make our guests' experiences on the ground in New Zealand memorable and important. So I will be in the background for the majority of today's presentation. So if you do have any questions, please forward those through in the chat box or the question and answer function. I'll be in the background. But we have two very important guests, as I mentioned before, and they are Karen Olaf, who is the International Sales Executive responsible for our region, and Ian Phillip, who is the International Sales Manager. I'll hand it over to them in just a moment. What I want to say just before I do hand over is let everyone know that it's never been as good a time to head down to New Zealand than now. New Zealand is at 90% of its pre-COVID arrivals, and almost we can put those times behind us now. And there's been some exciting network changes in terms of the air capacity and the new air routes to New Zealand as well. So Air New Zealand obviously service all of the major gateways, including Los Angeles, San Francisco, Vancouver, Chicago, Houston, and JFK, New York. We also have some new partners come online with some interesting new routes, including United Airlines, who now fly from San Francisco directly to Christchurch in the South Island. And we have our partners with Fiji Airways and Air Tahiti Nui, who also offer stops in the islands on their way through to New Zealand, and you can mix and match there as well. So I'm really excited to hand it over to Karen and Ian to introduce the Inter-Island Ferries. This is the perfect thing to learn about for your self-drive clients, about how they can get their rental cars across the strait. And even for those clients who are interested in organized tours, how does it work when they're driving around the country? These are the sort of questions that I'm interested in learning about today alongside you all. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Karen and Ian. And this is your show. Please feel free to take it away. Thanks, guys. And I think you're still on mute.
Oh, now, can you hear us all right? Right? Yeah, wonderful. Kia ora koutou, everybody. My name is Ian, as Rowan introduced, and this is Karen. We're thrilled to be here this morning, get this opportunity to introduce ourselves and also the Inter-Islander, the ferry crossing between the North Island and South Island. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. I'll just do a very brief introduction. Karen is an authority on the services and will give you a good 101. But again, just really appreciate the opportunity to run through this today, share what we do down here in, we're based in Wellington, the capital city. It's February the 1st, so no longer New Year as such, but yeah, we're into 1st of February. It's a beautiful morning here, calm, in the 20s. It's a lovely day. Hello, Dawn from Missouri. Thanks for putting your name in the chat, and welcome, Rick, Celine, Mary Jane, wherever you are. Thank you for joining and taking the time this morning. Karen, do you want to just move into? Oh, sorry.
You're on mute, guys. Sorry.
Sorry, there we go.
A great opportunity for us to explain a little bit about how we operate, where we operate, our services, and answer any questions. I'll be a couple of minutes just running through the intro. Karen will be about maybe 10, 15 minutes, just giving you a bit of a product overview. And then we'll welcome all questions and we'll do our best to answer those today. And the other thing is, do feel free to reach out at any point. If you've got any questions, it's been a few years since we've been into market to connect directly, but you know, we're always here. We're always here to help, and any questions beyond just us, we can try and help and point you in the right direction as well. It's important that we continue to champion this wonderful country of New Zealand that we live in and we operate in, and being the size that we are, we're well connected across the country too. I'm just going to introduce the presentation with a short video. It's about a minute long. Hopefully it won't lag too much, but we'll catch up in just a second. So a real short video, just to give you a taster, effectively, of how we operate. We sail between the two islands, the North Island and the South Island. Our head office is based in Wellington, the capital city, and it's about a 3.5-hour journey across. But the thing that I really want to leave you with today is what we can see on the screen. It's known that this 3.5-hour ferry crossing between the islands is an absolute must-do experience when coming down to New Zealand. This picture really encapsulates for us, what it's all about. The real jewel in the crown is the Marlborough Sound. We've got a wonderful city. We've got a wonderful city harbour just outside our windows here. We're looking out there now. People are rowing on there. The vessels are coming and going. But there's many harbours around the world which are equally as pleasurable, but the real special aspect is the Marlborough Sound, which is just on the north of this South Island. So if you're leaving Wellington, it takes about an hour to get out into the middle of the Cook Strait, about another half an hour to get to the heads that you can see in the far distance here. But this experience, its beauty, its tranquility, its history, its nature, the conservation that happens within this part of New Zealand is truly, truly unique. We've operated a ferry transport service for many, many decades now, but the real jewel is heading into this area. This is the Marlborough Sound, a truly unique place, and a real jewel to be to experience wild New Zealand. When coming down here is a must-do part of the itineraries now. It's always been there. It's well loved, experienced by the Kiwis and those that have travelled down to New Zealand. But we probably haven't elevated this aspect, being so unique, like the other areas across New Zealand, be it into Rotorua or the Fiordland, Queenstown, those real well-known aspects. It's our job, it's my job particularly, to drive and lift the awareness of this absolute must-do experience coming through to our beautiful country. Just a little quick summary. So we've got the North Island, Auckland, traditionally the major gateway at the north of the North Island. As Ren was saying, lots of connectivity coming in there and growing. We've got Napier down on the east coast, halfway down the North Island. And that's a Art Deco centre, another popular destination. And Wellington, this is where we're based, and this is the as I say, the tip of the North Island, south tip of the North Island. We've got Parliament just up the road here as well. So a bustling, beautiful city that's easy to walk around. No hire cars as such needed, or you leave those at your hotel. And then our ferry operation service is just 5 minutes effectively from the CBD. We've been operating across the Cook Strait for just over 60 years, 62 years now it is. A service and operation that's well entrenched within New Zealand's culture, families, experiences, stories, all sorts of things. We've got 3 passenger vessels that cross 24/7, so 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. And it's a 3.5-hour journey from Wellington across to Picton and Picton across to Wellington. We also operate and interlink with the Great Journeys, that's the rail network that comes directly into Wellington, and it leaves directly the ferry terminal in Picton as well, heading down to Kaikoura and Christchurch. So we're really well connected for those sit back, relax aspects. Karen will talk to you a little bit more about the service on board, but just a thing to remember recently and around the connectivity. The increased connectivity with Christchurch, particularly flying into the South Island, exploring the South Island, heading north, is a little best kept secret at the moment. With the airlines coming in there now, more and more tour operators are heading from the south to the north. Traditionally, it's been the north to the south, but there's increased availability heading north, particularly at peak times. There's often more favourable fares, and given the way that travel has increased over the last few years, it's another good option to look at. But that's pretty much my summary. Just in the background, we're a government entity, and we've got lots going on. These are the kind of things that are important to us. So whilst we've also got a beautiful country, we've got beautiful experiences here. It's important that we just share these aspects, that safety, operations, sustainability, community, all centre to what we do at this organisation. And it's just good to share, to give a bit of context that the depth of our the years we've been operating, 60 plus, as I said, and being a state-owned enterprise that's supported by the government, we are responsible through to the Prime Minister and the government here. And so these aspects is good to know in the background of your mind when you're sending your or recommending your itineraries to your clients, that these are important to us too. We're held to account on these aspects. But yeah, in the back of your mind, please don't forget that aspect too. And handing over to Karen. First class experiences.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Kia ora, everyone. My name is Karen. I'm the International Sales Exec for Interislander. So we'll start with experiences on board. What to do on board: there's cafes, food courts. We've got private lounges, which are a great upsell option for you. There's lots of places to sit and enjoy the beautiful views that you'll be sailing through. There are cinemas on board, and at specific times of the year, there's also magic shows, there's children's playgrounds, and there are live bands on board the kaitaki. So any passengers that are sailing can sit back and enjoy those things. And, there's things to keep the kids entertained as well. Vehicles. So for any clients doing any self-drives, they can take their cars on board. Interislander is in fact a drive-on, drive-off ferry. So essentially what that means is then it's no tricky turnarounds. They can just drive their car on board and drive off. We've got the car rental kiosks at the terminals, so for passengers who don't want to take their car on board the ferry, or if they can't take their rental car on board the ferry because some companies don't allow it, they can leave their car at the terminal, hop on board the ferry as a walk-on passenger, and then pick up a brand new rental car on the other side, whether that's in Wellington or Picton. And for any passengers who are driving a camper van, or a motorhome, all of those can always travel on board the Interislander. And for those, we usually recommend booking the K ships. They're a little bit easier to drive on and drive off for anyone that might be a little bit nervous. Lounges. So we have 3 bookable lounges on board the Interislander. The first one is probably my favorite, the Premium Lounge. So this is adults only. This is a really great upsell option for your clients. So it is an extra cost on top of the ticket. So you'd buy an adult fare and then you would add the Premium Lounge on top of that. It's a private lounge with staff in there who attend to whatever the needs of the passengers in there. It's all inclusive. So when guests go in there, they get a hot buffet, meals, snacks, local New Zealand wine and beer. There's non-alcoholic beverages as well. There's specific Wi-Fi in there for anyone that might be working or just need to get onto the internet. The Premium Lounge is available on all 3 ships, and we always recommend booking early. This lounge only sits 40 to 50 passengers, so when you're on a sailing with about 1,500 people, it's a really nice area that's secluded and away from the masses. And of course, passengers can come and go, but it is pretty exclusive, so we always recommend booking early. And you can book it for FITs, and you can also book it for groups. Couple extra photos, got some people enjoying a nice alcoholic beverage, and you can see some food down there in the left-hand corner. And this is the lounge on board the Kaitaki, just to give you a glimpse of what it looks like. Yeah, it's a super nice area on board, full of light, so you can still enjoy the views while you're sitting there, and enjoy a glass of wine or enjoy a fizzy drink if that's what you're into. The next 2 lounges that I'm going to speak to you about are only available on board the Kaitaki. So the Kaitaki is our ferry which leaves Wellington at 8:45 in the morning and leaves Picton at 2:15 p.m. During the day. So this first lounge is called the Queen Charlotte Lounge. This lounge is also adults only. So adults only in New Zealand is 18 years and older. This is also another private lounge. Essentially, it's about 30 New Zealand dollars, and included, that's the wholesale net rate, and included in that is a $15 food and beverage voucher. You can see that it's kind of this airplane style seating, but very large airplane style seats. And essentially when you buy that for your passenger, they're getting a guaranteed seat in a private secluded room. Again, there's Wi-Fi in there, and yeah, that included food and beverage voucher as well. The second lounge that's also only available on Kaitaki is the Pelorus Jack Lounge. This lounge is a family-friendly lounge offering. So it's for passengers aged 2 and above. Unfortunately, it's not catered to infants at the moment, so please do keep that in mind when making a booking. Included in here is a light buffet, snacks, tea, coffee, and I think there's also juices and that sort of things in there. There's things to keep kids entertained. There's high chairs. There's also a few books and toys in there. And it's just one single price for everyone. So there's no differentiation in price between an adult and a child. But yeah, this lounge isn't super well known yet. I guess it's only been in market for maybe the last under a year. So it's a really great lounge for people who have families who want that all-inclusive offering to book into. This is also another option for passengers who might be doing long drives or just want a bit of privacy on their trip. This is also only available on Kaitaki again. She's our largest vessel, so she's got lots to offer. The Kaitaki cabins. So this is a great add-on and upgrade option. Included in a private cabin, you've got 4 bunk beds, so you can book up to 4 passengers in there at a time per cabin. There's also an ensuite, a bathroom, fresh towels, there's a toilet in there, and there's complimentary water, tea and coffee, as well as a newspaper to catch up on the local events. Yeah, so you could book up to 4 passengers in here. The net rate is around 40-ish New Zealand dollars, so it's a really great add-on, and it's also super affordable, especially if you've got passengers who might be doing long drives. They can drive on, book in here, have a sleep, and then carry on their journey if they have got far to go. Food and drink, the exciting stuff. So Interislander really prides ourselves on supplying local. We've got a whole range of food on board for any passengers that might not be in one of our all-inclusive lounges. We've got grab-and-go food to full catered meals. What you can see in this photo here is a lovely meal that the passengers could enjoy in the premium lounge. It changes all the time, but that's kind of an idea of the class of food that passengers could expect to eat. Of course, we've got vegan, gluten-free, plant-based, dairy-free options available on board, so people don't have to worry about not being able to find something to eat over that 3.5 hours. And for any groups, but I mean, you could also add this to FIT bookings if they weren't keen to upgrade to the premium lounge or one of the lounge offerings, is our meal vouchers. So they are really great to pre-purchase and add to a booking. You can add them in $5 denominations. So you could add $25 per person. So when they get on board, they have the freedom to spend that on whatever food and beverages that they'd like. Hi, cool. Well, this is our team. Ian's got away with somehow not putting a photo in here.
That's fine.
Yeah. But we do have a dedicated wholesale and trade team here to help, based in Wellington. So you've got Dell and Ksenia, and they are both our reservation specialists. So they look after the wholesale at interislander.co.nz email. Anytime you have a booking request or a question, in regards to a reservation, that's where it goes and that's who's actioning it. We also have a brand new emergency support line that's opened Monday to Friday. So for any bookings within 24 hours that might need help. And then obviously you've met Ian here, who's the international sales manager, and then myself. That was quicker than I thought. So yeah, obviously, thank you for your support. And I guess we'll look if there's any questions in here, if anyone has any questions or if Ian wants to add anything.
Yeah, just to round up, thank you, Karen. That's great. Gives a good insight to the certainly the facilities on board as well. I just want to emphasise the level of experience on there. I think the level of hospitality that Kiwis are well known for is that warm, friendly approach. I travelled last week across there and back in the day, and the level as a lay, I was in my my everyday gear, if you like. Not certainly, and I'm not that well known on board, so it was really good to kind of go and experience it for a everyday passenger, and it's exceptional. The people on board, they really care. They really go that extra mile to make sure you're welcomed, you're comfortable. If there's any queries that it's seen to immediately, and it really is a wonderful experience from that moment that you even engage at the check-in at the terminals, getting on board the facilities, the food and beverages Karen went through on board, and the team here. New Zealanders generally very much care about visitors coming to our country and ensuring it's a special, memorable experience. Our team on board very often have had long tenures working on the ships as well. On one of the vessels, the Kaitaki, I was chatting with the customer service manager who's been on there for 23 years. And there's lots of people that have been with our organisation for very similar lengths of time, if not more, sometimes less, of course. But it's about the experiences on board. What you don't get to see so much from the presentation, you saw it a little bit in the video, but is that absolute beauty. Leaving the harbour here in Wellington, go around their headland, going across the Cook Strait and into that jewel in the crown, that Marlborough Sound is particularly special. Something to remember, somewhere to or something to think about with your clients, but an exceptional way to travel between the islands, experience the great outdoors, from inside or outside, whatever you wanted to do, but a really fantastic way to travel across and create that and memorable experience for your visitors coming down here.
I can see we have a question
Great.
from Lindsay, so thank you for putting that through. And anyone else that has questions, please chuck them in the chat so we can answer them for you. So Lindsay has asked, can you describe the procedure for those connecting with the Coastal Pacific train from Picton to Kaikoura through to Christchurch? So if you had a passenger doing that journey, which we call the through fare, what would happen is the passenger would check in for their ferry if they were starting in Wellington, and what would happen is they just tag their bags with the location that they're going to. So if they were going through to Kaikoura, they would tag their bags with Kaikoura on them. So when they come off the ferry, hop on the train, their bags also get off. Essentially, the train station is right next to where our Interislander ferry terminal is in the South Island. So they'll literally come off the ferry, come down, disembark, and then the train station is literally right next door. It's probably about 2 minutes walk, if that. So it's really seamless and really easy. It's not difficult to find at all. And yeah, we make sure that their bags are transferred through to there so they don't need to worry about any of that at all.
CBD, thank you. Yes, Wellington's reasonably small as a city, so CBD is the same as downtown effectively. You can pretty much walk corner to corner, 25 minutes, a bit longer if you've got luggage, of course, but yeah, not far at all. You can get from pretty much any hotel in the city out to the terminal within 10 minutes easily in an Uber or a taxi.
Definitely. And I mean, an alternative option as well is we do have a free shuttle that goes from the railway station. So the railway station is also in the CBD. So if you have passengers who may find it easier to get to the train station here in Wellington, they can hop on the free shuttle, which leaves 75 minutes before each sailing time. So that's a good alternative option for people who may need it.
Amazing, guys. Thank you so much. I think we would usually get a lot more questions in this, so this just means that you're so expert at your presentation that you've answered all of those questions already. But it's been really enlightening. I know that for a lot of people that you are a really vital part of organising the trips to for people's clients. And we want to get it right, and you guys are such an important part of that. And it's great to know about the premium options, the premium lounges, and the efforts that you're doing, and the food and beverage, and the onboard experience, to just make it a little bit extra special for our clients as well. So it's very much appreciated. And having your contact details is really helpful as well. We appreciate that stuff happens. This is just the nature of our industry. So what we're going to do is we'll send the recording of this out today to everyone, and we'll also include the contact details of the team as well as myself, being locally based, so that we've got many people on hand to make sure that your guests and yourselves are perfectly looked after, and you can sort of have great peace of mind there. So I don't see any more questions coming through, but that just means that you've done a perfect job on the presentation. So thank you again. It's early morning for you down there, but it's afternoon up here for the rest of us. Is there any last words before we wrap it up?
Just really appreciate you sending your clients to New Zealand full stop. Of course, we'd love to get them on the Interislander. We always make them feel welcome. We've got trends coming up in a few months. I don't know if anybody will be making it down here, but we'd be glad to see you. Do always reach out if you're in the region and you want to travel. We're always, if you're selling Interislander or you've got clients that have travelled, we'll be able to get you on board, no problem. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and certainly we can get you on board. It's a great way to experience it firsthand, of course. That's it. Thank you very much. Thanks for everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Great. And also don't hesitate to reach out with any questions to our emails or phone numbers that are on the presentation. We're here to help. If you don't think of a question now, you might later. So we'll be here.
Amazing.
Thank you, Ren.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. And thank you, everyone, for your time and your continued support of New Zealand. We say goodbye. We say haere rā, kia hoki mai anō. Until next time, see you and have a good day, everybody.